ladies and gents. It's the 2nd of June. I got it right today, 2nd of June, Monday. And we're starting the show with I'm starting the show with a smile on my face. I'm not sure if you're going to be joining us with a smile on your face, but maybe the news will change your mind. BT, how are you on this Monday evening, mate?
I'm really good. Really pleased with what's gone on in the last sort of 35 minutes. And God, we're moving fast, Mr. B. We don't do this normally.
No, it makes a change. And how are we doing down there, Yaba?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. Just I want to say happy birthday to my son, 15 years old today. Happy birthday, son, if you're watching.
Sure.
But yeah, seems like we've got some good news and a lot of topics to talk about. I've got a lot to say, but let's save it for the show. Big up to everyone in the chat as well.
Okay, well, we're on the show. That's what you're here for. Right, let me just say a couple of howdies. Patrick Pillow, evening. Great news in the last hour. Mbeumo would be an excellent addition. We've got Andrew saying the boys. Mbeumo looking good. And gent, things are happening. That sounds a little bit positive there. Bill Baggio, where are you? I just saw you. Long time no see. I hope you're doing well, man. Waffle.tv. I assume that comment means you're very, very happy. The fact that you've commented. Well done, mate. Appreciate it. Stephanie, I hope you're doing well. Danny B, we see you in the house, man. We see you in the house. There you go. That's what I was looking for, the comment. Big up the panel, man. We're all here. Look, let's just look. Let's not dilly-dally. In the last 45 minutes, ORNSTEIN has dropped the BOMBA. And then it's now been followed up with the tap-in merchant in Romano. Mbeumo wants United. Before I'll say mine, I will go to bath time. Thoughts, BT?
Really, really delighted. Anyone who's been watching the channel has, known my love of Brian Mbeumo for the last 2 or 3 years. I think I once said that I saw a young Sadio Mane in him, which might have been a bit over the top, but I'm so pleased that it's come out of nowhere. I thought we were losing him to Newcastle United, or we were going to have to sell Garnacho to Newcastle to allow us a free run on Mbeumo. I think it's really interesting in terms of what it means for Amad Diallo and him next season, now that we have Cunha and Cunha and Mbeumo. And then maybe a bit later on, I can talk about some stats that I was looking at today. And, they're not boring stats, but I think I think there's a plan for these signings now. And that is something I'm sort of back in as Ineos in again. They're impressing me with what they're doing in the transfer window, the speed, the efficiency, and the joined up thinking.
Yeah. Look, it's good news. It's happening fast as well. And we know on this channel over the last few years, we've had to wait around. Remember Frankie de Jong with that saga and how that dragged on. So as Bath Time saying, it's good that the management of the club are actually working fast to appease the fans who've been really living off crackers and bread and water recently. It looks like a massive feast, to celebrate the arrival of Ineos. I mean, it's taken a long time. They've been here just over a year, since November, so about a year, 18 months or so. And everyone's been disappointed, obviously, because of the reaction. I mean, what we've been playing, finishing 16th in the league, and it's not been good enough for Man United Football Club. But I think sometimes to make that change, you have to get rid of all the bad stuff and then implement the new. And hopefully this is the first sign of something good. We've got 2 prime players with Cunha, maybe Mbeumo as well. I'm saying maybe because it's not confirmed yet until we say here we go. But maybe him as well. Players that are prime and ready to go in the Premier League, the league where we really suffered last season. So that will give us a great a boost for all the fans and obviously for the team as well, because we hopefully will be a bit more productive in the final third with those 2.
Okay, well, there's a few more. Rio, we see you in the house. Kieran, yeah, Kieran, we see you in the house. Bart, you keep talking, mate. You just keep talking. You keep trolling. You keep talking. It's fine. I'll still keep posting. You know, a lot of them I am going to ignore, but it's good to have you here. My thoughts. Absolutely effing delighted. These are the kind of players, the big boy players that we need to be linked with. No pull. Yeah, of course we don't have no pull because we're a small club. That's the mentality and that's the projection, the projection that they want to put out there. That's fine. Leave us being small. You know, Ineos have made mistakes. I've been spun completely. I'll hold up my hands. They've got me hook, line, and sinker. I said I'm not doing any transfers. I'm not interested in any transfers. I'm not interested in the speculation. Well, Cunha's coming July the 1st. We knew the deal was going to be done. We're now being linked with a beast. Let's not get it twisted. You know, Tony left, and everybody was wondering, oh, where are their goals going to come from? And both him and, to be fair, him and Wissa, both stepped up this season, and he hit that magical 20 goal mark. I don't see any negative in the signing, and now the fact that he's put the icing on the cake, saying that he only wants to come to Man United, then let them get the deal done. You know, I know BT, you probably have his numbers up for last season, but I just think he's the perfect. I don't see any negative with this signing. What I am going to ask is how much money do you think we've got left now in our pre-sale budget? I mean, look, and if they've blown all of it on those two players, I don't have an issue because we know that we've got guaranteed players going out, 100% guaranteed players going out. It might not be the fees that we want necessarily, but we're going to be losing players, wages, with, you know, the Lindelofs and the Ericssons leaving on a free. Obviously, we've still got Anthony, you know, we've got Rashford, wages off, Sancho, wages off, hopefully. And there might be a little bit of extra money coming in from the sale of, what's his name? The left back, Alvaro, to Real Madrid. So maybe that's they're going to be dealing with. Well, if Greenwood gets sold, then yeah, you know, there's going to be knock on. But they're in the Champions League, and he's going to want to play Champions League football. So maybe it'll be another season for the Greenwood money to come in. So I don't see anything. I don't see anything negative about this signing at all.
No, it's just price and wages are the only things like you can sort of disagree with. I suspect he'll be a 200k a week player.
Same as Cunha?
Yeah, I think so.
What's he on now?
I have no idea. You can look at Capology for something like that. But the way United work is we have like tranches, don't we? Like a kind of tier system. And he's come in as a first team player. I'd be very surprised if he's not on the same money as Cunha. So between 150 and 20k.
Well, he's on 45 grand now.
There you go.
So what
Ross,
you're gonna bump that up to 50 a Monday? Yeah,
no, I'm just saying, I know what I knew about Brentford. They don't pay big wages. So I'm just looking right now. Yeah, 45 grand. Aaron Hickey's on 70 grand for them, but not much value there. But yeah, I mean, 45 grand. Contract runs out next season. I don't know what he's demanding, but if you add transfer fee, what are they talking? They're saying what 50, 60 million for him.
Okay, I wouldn't want to pay over 50.
Okay, and then you're talking about 200 grand a week. I just think we need to be careful. I think it's a good discussion, but I was looking at Liverpool's players' wages the other day, and they've got it really organised. They've got it sort of settled, no imbalance. And I hope,
really?
They have.
What they had Trent, Salah, and Van Dijk all running their contract out in during the season. That doesn't.
Well,
sound
Trent's
organised.
leaving, isn't he? He's on a big wage, but I'm just saying the structure of their wages is like their best players would be Salah, Trent, and Van Dijk, and they were highly paid players. You know, unlike other clubs. When you look at Aaron Hickey at Brentford, I just looked at that. He's their top earner at 70 grand a week. So it just goes to show. So I just think we have to be considerate, and I'm sure Ineos will. It's a good signing. It's from a mid-table side like Brentford, a player that was playing second division French football and wasn't picked up by anybody. Brentford signed him, brought him in into the Championship, and he's been there a while. He's slowly developed and become a really good Premiership player now. So I'm interested to know. I think if you go for 45 grand, you know, hopefully we don't overpay him the wages and get some more structure with that as well. Be interested to see how much he gets anyway.
Do you think though that he deserves what Cunha gets?
Well,
yeah,
like not the figure, but the principle.
Mr. B?
Yeah, I do. If I get what Bath Time's saying, if you're paying a certain price for a player, they're going to be in a certain wage bracket. It's whether they accept to be in the wage bracket. You know, he might be demanding 300 grand, in which case then we're not going to bother. But if he comes in at 200 grand, at the end of the day, it's, you know, it's relative to where you're playing. You know, he's not going to come for 100 grand. He's not going to come for 100 grand. You know, this is a huge move for him. And let's be honest, his numbers last season weren't too bad. So, you know, we've got a Premier League proven player. We don't need no European. We don't need these European players, you know, who we're going to worry about them fitting in. I want a Premier League player who, you know, everybody knows, okay, we know what he can do. If his level drops off that, then we can say, all right, then the clubs too, you know, the clubs. But him and Cunha have both set the Premier League alight last season. And it looks like we're going to have both of them as our number 10s.
Well, just quickly, I want to come to Bath maybe late in the show, but just about, because when I've seen him play, obviously he's rapid. We know that he's rapid. I don't think he's an out-and-out striker, but with the system we play, I'm just wondering, will he fit as a number 10? Has he got the technical ability to get the ball in tight area, turn around, or is he just going to be someone who plays out wide? I don't know. I'm just interested to know because it's just fresh in my mind. Just got the news today. Haven't really seriously considered him. Didn't think it was possible, but I just want to know how he's going to fit in. I don't know how you guys in the comments feel about that too. How would he fit in? Where would he play? And can he be effective? Do Brentford play a three at the back? Do they play, you know, a similar system to us? Where was he playing for Brentford? Just I don't know. I wanted to know what you guys.
You say is this Yaba being downplaying the whole vibe that he's producing here? You've seen his numbers.
Yeah, I've seen his numbers this season, but what I'm saying is he's come from a French second division side. A bit like Mahrez, a bit like Kante, turned out good, and he's turned out okay. You know, so Brentford scouted him. He coming through French football. French, as you can see, look at Paris the other day; they were fantastic. But there's a lot of great players in France coming up, and for Brentford to pick him out and say, yeah, he's good, he's going to develop. I think, wow, I wasn't impressed with him for the first few seasons. Like, as you know, we're local to Brentford. I do follow Brentford, and I was just thought, yeah, he's just quick. It's good enough for the Championship. But I'm just really surprised what he's gone on to do, and it's really hard to stop because of his pace and sharpness. And don't think he's got much injuries in. You know, he's had many injuries either. But for me, the main thing is, can he play in a 10 role? Can he be effective in a 10 role? Let's wait and see.
I'm quite surprised, Jabba. You're normally, I mean, like Xerxes was Bergkamp and Batistuta. This is a much more like nuanced take on it. I think that when you look at the role he's got to play, I would like to see him being used the way that Michael Elise was used at Crystal Palace, where he was the sort of right-sided number 10 in their system, and he would occupy wide areas when the play came down his side and then would move across. And ideally, like, I think that one of the number 10s I treat in my head now as a sort of box-to-box midfielder, where his job is to run channels, apply the final touch for a goal or for an assist, and, you know, operate in pressing situations and so on. And Mbeumo's got extraordinary running power. And because he is effective over all distances. It's not just that he can run a lot, it's that he's in control of himself when he runs. So he can challenge for the ball, he can keep it under control, he can apply pressure. It's a really difficult skill, like to have. It's something that Garnacho and Rashford, for example, have never been effective over long distances. he's not like technically he's not the best in the world. Like you're not going to have someone who is doing wondrous things with the football. He's a decent striker of a football, and he's a consistent striker of a football. But I think that he is a player that is more than the sum of his parts and will greatly help the team. Like overall, like if we're going to stick with Amorim, this is the type of player that is really going to kind of show what his system and his style and his philosophy is all about. And I think it's a wonderful signing, an ambitious signing. My only concern with it is the fact that he's turned down a lot of Champions League clubs, apparently, in Arsenal, Spurs, someone else, Newcastle. I do worry about what wages we might be paying him.
Okay, well, the wages side of it, hopefully it falls in line with what we want. I think the fact that he has turned down all of these teams, and we know, it's been out there that these teams were interested. I get the part of you're saying about what you're offering, what we're offering him as wages. I just don't see us. I don't see us quadrupling a man's wages. We've done it before, so I suppose we'll do it again. But I think the 200 grand mark, I don't think anybody seems to be overly stressing about. His numbers prove that he can do it.
One thing about his numbers, Mr. B, is he got 20 goals last season. Absolutely fantastic. He's never got close to those numbers before, and he overperformed his XG by 8, which I'm not a huge fan of the XG stat, but when it is that high, it does kind of suggest that maybe it was a bit of a sort of, that it's either a breakout season or it's a sort of a bit of a flash in the pan. So I'm not as excited so much by that 20 goals that people think he's bringing, but I'm more excited about the fact that he offers us a consistent transition threat and consistent running in behind. And with him and Cunha, I can begin to work out what that front unit is meant to be doing. So, like, I genuinely would be shocked if he scored 20 Premier League goals next season. I think sort of 12 to 13 is what we should be expecting from him. And we haven't had that since Greenwood.
Would that be from both players? Would you say that would be Cunha's numbers as well?
Yeah, I think Cunha, I think both of them would. I'd be delighted if they both got 15 goals, but they should be hitting double figures, low teens in terms of goals. Like, I don't want the narrative to kind of be framed that because he scored 20 goals this season and Cunha scored 15, we're getting 35 goals guaranteed.
I get it. But we can dream. We can dream. And Webby Road to Glory, he's got a question here. I know, but we were discussing this a little bit earlier. Just remember this one, guys. If Bruno's goes, who will we make captain? I just want to know what Yabba's thoughts are on that already, but yeah, we will get back to it. Welcome, Webby. There was somebody else I wanted to welcome as well, but I can't see his name now. Hot Fuzz, that was the one. Welcome. I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're doing well. I see that you're also very, very happy with the fact that we've been linked with a player who I think we all feel is going to make a difference. But I know you. It's strange. You're normally so positive, and to hear some of your, I'm not going to say negativity, but some of your pessimism, it has surprised me. But then maybe that's what we need to be doing. They've spun me again, and it's not. It is what it is now.
Do you think we're shopping in the bargain bucket here, Yabba? Do you think that he's not Do you think he's not Manchester United quality, as it were?
No, not at all. I only found out on the way home 20 minutes ago or half an hour ago. So I'm just still taking it in. I'm looking at him. I like him. I've always liked him. Thought he's decent. Obviously, we talked about his pace. We need that and experience. And these guys are raring to go. Like I say, the age. They're at the age where they've proven in the Premier League. It's not like you get some guy from French Division 2 or Spain or somewhere in the continent where we don't know where we can perform. We know he can do the business with us. So I just want to see what his motivation is. He's come a long way. I don't know much about his personality, but it's given me an opportunity now the next few days to go and look at him, see what his interviews are like, and read his body language and see what sort of vibe he's got. Because if he said, "I want Man United," is he saying it for the right reasons when he's got offers for Champions League football? It's a great move for him. He's probably, what I would like to think, which would really please me with him and Cunha, is that they want to come to Man United because they want to be that maverick, that difference maker, and to get the fans on their side. Most footballers, look, when we love, they say scoring goals is better than having sex, don't they? And I think if you can be a hero and you get these 70,000 people in the biggest stadium in the country singing your name and you become a legend at the club, that's an opportunity that you can't turn down, and it's bigger than anything. These two could take us leaps and bounds up the table into Champions League contention, maybe even to title contention. Who knows?
Oh,
so
yes,
right.
yeah.
So, and this is, you go from
if their mindset is right, if that's their mindset and they're on it, like, yeah, I'm down with this. I want to make myself. Do you say, Mr. B? What I'm saying is, you got two mindsets here as a footballer. 25. This is my big move for both of them. For both of them, it's their big move. So, are they doing it for, like, to say, yeah, we've made it, we've done our hard work to get this far, we're getting a big move now. Now we're going to go and sit back and say, yeah, we've done it. Or are they doing it and say, no, I'm going to push on now and become a legend at Man United Football Club and really enjoy my career. We see a lot of footballers, their career dindles out. A bit like Bruno Fernandes, maybe, who could have gone on to a better thing.
Are you taking the mickey?
Bruno Fernandes could be playing Champions League football. He's sacrificed and saying, I love this club. I'm going to be a Man United player, and I'm going to back them no matter what. Even though we go through hard times winning domestic cups, he's backed us. He's stuck with us when he could be playing in that Paris Saint-Germain team or in the Champions League final. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's the intent of these signings from Cunha and Mbeumo. What are they on? I'm going to go look them up, read it, and listen to their interviews and see what sort of mindset they've got. Because if they're on it, this could be massive for us.
Yeah, but that's actually one of my concerns about Cunha. I do kind of agree with you on that. We've had this thing of people thinking they've made it and that they can just coast coming to United. Cunha, I'm not completely convinced with his character, but Mbeumo has been like in the UK for maybe 6 or 7 years now. He's come up from the Championship. Like, he's done it at Brentford, who were like the most unfashionable club ever. They got promoted. Did they lose loads of playoff finals?
No,
okay, that was someone else. But they came up during COVID, didn't they? And they never kind of got their big moment until they played Arsenal on that Friday night game and beat them. And things. From what I've seen, I think that Mbeumo appears to have, the right professionalism. And I really love what you sort of said about characters and mavericks, because I don't know if you saw the show last night. If you did, I'd be in lots of trouble. So talking about Ambrose. But one of the things we talked about is that, like, football's got a bit too ordered at the moment, and there's players not sort of taking risks and stuff. And if Bruno leaves, a lot of chaos goes out of our team, and chaos is kind of what you want as a fan. Like, looking at creativity, I suppose, like the ability to produce something out of nothing, but also to have that mindset to want to do something that gets the crowd up. I think that both Mbeumo and Cunha have that kind of gene in them. I think that they want that, and so I think that's really exciting. That's Toulouse-Lautrec cat eating sushi? That is a wonderful picture.
That is who?
Toulouse-Lautrec was a French artist, and he painted like a famous cat, and that is
right.
That's the cat.
Webby, I'm going to ask you, did you know that your cat was who? Toulouse the cat?
Toulouse-Lautrec. He was a French dwarf who was a famous artist. He's in Moulin Rouge.
Listen, and this is the beauty of having you on Bath Time. You spoke there for 30 seconds. I have no idea what you spoke about. I heard Moulin Rouge. Webby, let us know if that was the reason why you've got your cat eating noodles or sushi there, please. And this is the beauty of having somebody with a different sort of intelligence, bloody hell.
I have no intelligence. Thank you very much. But yeah, Yabba. Like, I think I'm excited that, like, they have that gene in them that I think that I remember. Do you remember when we first talked about Dorgu? And I said it was going to be so exciting the first time Dorgu got the ball in acres of space, and we are going to see him run up the pitch. And it never really happened. When it gets to Mbeumo or to Cunha, we're going to get that on day one of the Premier League, and I need that. I need the excitement back in Manchester United, and these two players I think are a great start to getting the love back, as it were.
Going back, I know we talk about Mbeumo today, but Cunha is really a serious player, and it's just about getting the best out of him, getting him to sort of shine. This is the path that he's gone down. He's obviously signed, come to Europe. He played for Atletico Madrid. Now that's a big club, big stage. Then he went on loan a couple of times as well. So there's something about him where his trajectory has not gone straight all the way up to Man United. It's been a bit rocky, you know. Big club, loan. Wolves. I mean, and suddenly he's gone to Man United. So hopefully he's matured and he's ready to go as well. Because I think I've seen him do some damage, like from a young player when he's been on loan. He played in Germany. He's played for Hertha Berlin, and you know, he was magnificent out there. Like looked like a world-class player. And I think, like I say, going back to my point, if their mind's right and they're hungry and they really want to be something, they really want to be a legend in football, there's your stage. Similar to like we were saying about Cantona coming to the club at that stage, he saw it as an opportunity to really shine. He was at Leeds and thought, yeah, this looks good. They're interested in me. I can go there and just be the player that I want to be, you know. So I just don't want us to, as a fan base, I know we're all excited. You should have seen Mr. B or heard Mr. B. I mean, he was buzzing. I can't wait for the show, and you know, oh my God,
he never says that.
I know. I'm thinking, Mr. B. You know, honestly, guys in the chat, Mr. B is delighted about this. You know, so he's. I mean, Mr. B. I mean, it's like you're stepping up with your Saturday side. You're going to the first division now. You've been promoted. You know, and when you look at players, he's got everything you need, don't you? I mean, even at our level, pace, directness, that gets you in so much. You go to under 10s, you got a guy with pace, might not be the best player, but it gets you. It's so effective. Football is, if you got speed, you got half a chance. You know, if you're running, and you're just the same as everyone else. You got to have something extra about you. But when you got that rapid speed, in any level, whether it's under 10s, whether it's your Saturday football, my Sunday football, Barfed Sunday football, if you've got that speed in football, you're a threat, and especially in the Premier League, we've seen it time and time again.
They have it,
how dangerous it can be. So let's see where we go with this. But the comments are flying.
Do they have it? Yeah. Does Mbeumo have that? But I don't think Mbeumo Cunha has elite level pace.
No,
we've got elite level power running though.
He's got power.
And it's such a Buff. I'm just finish my point. It's so elite. That's what I'm saying. When you're playing up against Garnacho, we seen Garnacho in the Champions League get munched. Like, boy, stop running with just like, boy, stop it. You know, jog alongside him and not feel the threat. Even Haaland, Rasmus Haaland, he's supposed to be quick. I never see him bust a man, like burn a man for pace and give people that worries, you know. Mbeumo would give that more than any of these guys.
You think he can burn fullbacks?
Sorry?
You think he can burn fullbacks?
I think he's been killing a couple of fullbacks this season quite, Okay, I'm
just not convinced that he has. I think Rashford and Dan James had elite level pace. I don't think Mbeumo does. I think he's fast.
He's rapid. I say that, you see him always cutting onto his left foot. Everyone knows he's going to do that, you know, from that position. But you have to be quick to allow a man to do that, because the defenders jockey and think, right, just in case he goes down the right, he's got that pace to really go. So that's why he's able to cut back on his left foot a lot of the time, because he just drop a shoulder, you know, and it causes so much mayhem that the defender will allow him to get onto his left foot. That's why he seems so easy with what he does, because he's got the pace and people know him. Everyone does their data as defenders on guys like that. And then you have to be on your toes. You have to be, you know, ready to go.
It's easy to go on the inside, though. It's like going on the outside is the real mark of, like, of quality.
Very true.
Do you know? Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
very
Like,
true.
That's why I quite like Garnacho. I know he's very annoying, but he does go on the outside a lot, and maybe it's because of having to watch Anthony for 2 seasons and whatever was going to come off his foot. But I would hope that Mbeumo gets on the outside, like, varies it a little bit, and maybe he does. Maybe we'll see this pace.
This is one that is got me here. This is one from Ben. The thing we need to do is start having a nailed on the starting 11. He's saying here, it's not a squad game next season without Europe. Let's build an 11 and get you and grow the year after. Do you agree with that? I actually,
mostly,
I actually do, to a certain, maybe 90% of that. Agree with that. To be fair, I would rather we had an 11 that we knew was going to be starting every week, bar 1 or 2 players. You may be injury or lack of form, but I would go with that. Question I'm going to ask you: Cunha and Mbeumo nailed on 10s, guaranteed starters.
You have to think so. It's just Amarin loves Matt and he loves Ahmad. What are we going to do with those two? Like, because if
they don't
Ben's
score
right,
goals.
Ahmad's done all right at number 10 for goals. I know he got 3 against Southampton, which inflates his figures a bit, but he's been a lot more productive in the second half of the season in that role. But I think that Ben is right, where ideally we would want a squad of maybe 15, 16, something like that, like starters, as it were. Like, there's a core of sort of 16 players. And if that's the case, that you kind of have to look at the youth development and maybe keep a couple of players rather than sending them out on loan. So if there's a drop off in form, you put a Jack Fletcher or a Kone or a Shea Lacey in and let them have their opportunity. But it does make me wonder about Ahmad and Mount, because I know everyone loves Ahmad, but you can't have him at wing back. He's too defensively poor, and he's shown it at the tail end of the season for me. Lovely player.
Do you think this is where the preseason comes in? Because obviously Amarin has always had his wide men have never been defenders. Obviously Premier League he's had to come in, and he didn't have maybe the attacking players.
Wing backs have never been defenders. Is that the claim?
Well, when he played in Portugal, they were wingers.
One of them was.
One of them was fine. One of them was, and I assume that winger is going to be maybe the Ahmad side, because that's the side that.
That'll be Dorgu, surely.
See, and I don't. I think it's more likely to be Ahmad, just because of player profile and the player that he plays in that position.
Do you mean the defensive position?
No, I'm talking about the offensive side of it.
Yeah, okay, agreed, yes.
Yeah, I'm more thinking about the offensive side. I understand Ahmad defensively probably doesn't have it, but this is what competition's about. You know what I mean? Levels now need to be raised. If Ahmad feels, that Ahmad is 21? Somebody put in is he 24? Oh shit!
He's the same age as Anthony. He's going to be 24 at the start of the next season.
Okay, I just see him. I still see him as 21. My
yeah, no, he's not a young player.
Yeah, somebody put in the chat, boys to men. That's what it will be. All right, Ahmad's not a boy, but Garnacho's a boy, and he's the first replacement. I just think we'll be replacing them with first teamers. It's just what happens with the rest of the team defensively. I still think we're fine defenders wise. The big issue is central midfield. Bruno definitely isn't going to be playing as a 10 if we're buying Cunha and Mbeumo, but he's not an 8. He's not.
See, I don't think that's our problem. I think the 2 problems that you haven't named are the big problems now: striker and goalkeeper.
Well, look, I'm not. I don't think we need to. Everybody knows that. It's just obvious.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
I've got no intelligence, Mr. B.
I just think there's no point. We know what's coming. there's going to be sales, and those two MFs are 150% going to be part of the people that are going out.
We've seen
Would you
Brentford
say a
sign.
number 6?
Brentford has signed Liverpool's reserve goalkeeper.
Yeah,
I think
20 million.
Yeah, it's a good deal for them, isn't it? And
So they lost Flecken
To Ten Hag.
Leverkusen, is it?
for 11 mil. Yeah, Leverkusen. So who was the Leverkusen goalie before?
I don't know.
Oh well, look, it
can't be worse than Onana. Let's go and get it.
Yeah. He gave us Onana, and your team wants a goalie, and at no stage have you decided to come back in for Onana. He's a wanker.
It used to be on your wall.
Who? Onana? Oh, Ten Hag.
No,
yeah,
Ten
he
Hag.
did. I know. And now when I think about it, I think I was such an ass.
You used to go on other shows defending him. It was part of your art.
God.
But do you think number 6 is like the key signing next, like for both of you?
Yeah, because I mean, we worry about obviously order-wise. We would always have a preference. Buy the goalkeeper, but get rid of Rasmus first.
Yeah.
Maybe Rasmus gets rid right at the end, but we need. It's the profile of that player, man. If he's gonna play with 2, this is the one that he really needs. And then is he then again looking at Premier League proven? I will hold it up and I will say now, I will take Wharton. If they can get hold of Wharton in that position from Crystal Palace, I think he gives us not everything that we need, age profile 100%, but I think he starts.
Over whom?
He could start over Casemiro. He gets around the pitch more than Casemiro. He'll get around. His passing will be better than Agate. Any one of them.
Who would the pairing be?
Bruno Water, you say?
No, see, and this is I'm in my head. Bruno's gone. In my head, in my head, Bruno's not gone. Bruno's gone. He's not in the team anymore, and we haven't even spent the Bruno money yet. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just
leaving.
Yabba.
I think he is Yabba.
65 million pounds a year. 65 million.
He can go next year. He can go the year after. He doesn't need to go now.
Well, he can't go the year
Club
after
World
because they're not going to have Club World Cup. They want him now. Why do you think they're pushing so hard? 65 mil. I know he's happy. He's married.
I don't think Bruno would
really.
No, he'd be a legend if he stays because to turn down that sort of money, he would show.
He doesn't need to be a legend. You know what?
And it will mean everyone's trying to catch him out. Say, oh, he loves the club. He's making statements. He loves the club. So if he stays after all this, I hope people will start to put some respect on his name because he is a fantastic player.
Everyone respects him, but the thing is, Yabba, is it looks increasingly likely he's going to go. It's terrible for the sport because you can't give 100 million. You can't give 65 million a year to a 31-year-old and say, "Oh, you're going to turn this down." It's obscene. So, like, he's going to go off. He's going to winch his way into like OPEC or something and control oil production in the Middle East for the next 10 years. But with let's say that the club have to be working on a striker and a goalkeeper. So with the midfield, are we going to be doing what I want us to do, which is buying a partner to Kobe Mainu? Because now, no one said this, but Kobe, if he is only a 10, he is right down the pecking order with Ahmad and Mount and things. So I hope that he's going to be a 6 next season.
What part of Kobe's game do you think he needs to improve to become the 6?
Athletic.
Right. So
it's running.
Right. So and in pre-season, his season hasn't stopped. He's been allocated a fitness coach that's going to be working on explosive power and strength.
Rashford did this though every summer.
Yeah, but Rashford's doing it now, the silly tosser. He's posting it again about him jogging down the pitch. He can piss off. He can just, you know what it is? You just post for post's sake, Shut your mouth.
I love it. He goes out and he's a professional footballer with no goalkeeper and no defender, and shows us how good he is at kicking the ball into the net. I always found it hilarious.
Yeah, there you go. You know, it's no. He doesn't need to post. Don't need to post.
Let's say, right, that the three midfielders for the number 6 role are Kobe, Casemiro, and Ugarte. If we were to get let's say Wharton, let's say Baleba, like Premier League, like proven Premier League players, good players.
Baleba
at Brighton.
Brighton. Oh my God!
All right, are you happy with Wharton, Yabba?
Yeah, good player. Really
all right,
good
let's
player.
say we get Wharton in. Who's his partner?
Look, 5 subs. I don't think it makes that much difference.
No, it does. Starting 11. We've got a big game against Arsenal.
No, because the reason doesn't make any difference is because, like you're talking about, Kobe not getting in or Mount and all these guys, it does make a difference. There's injuries. There's 5 subs during the game. You know, there's so much opportunity to play. The players that we didn't think. How many games did Lindelof get last season?
We're playing 15 games less this season, Yabba. No European football. We're playing 15 games less this season with no European football.
Right, but we have guys raring to go. So you've got a good balance. You have Casemiro, you have Bruno, and you have Ugarte. Then you got behind that, you'd have if you say
has that worked? Has that worked this season?
No,
has Bruno, Ugarte, and whichever combination.
That's in the past. So these are the experienced players, and then to keep them hungry, you got little youngsters fighting to get into the side, making them hungry. Say, I can take this position. You know, it keeps people on their toes. What I think's happened with Kobe, he walked into the side. He was our young hero last season and the season before. Scored the FA Cup final goal, England international, playing in the Euro, the Euros and that. And then it was like set. And then there was always that question mark. Well, what happens next? You know, can he drop down again and still have that hunger and without being peed off? There's obviously issues with his contract, and I think the main issue for that is, what am I? What do you want me to be? Am I a squad player? Am I a backup player? Am I a first team player? So I love Kobe. I think he's a great player. I just think, I'm really happy to hear that Mr. B was saying he's doing some fitness and to strengthen and improve the areas where he might be a bit vulnerable in the league. But he's got players at 8 in this system, especially now with these guys coming through. And hopefully we see he can control games better and learn, Let's see what his character's like. It's all about character for me with these players. They're very talented, but let's see what they've really got. Are they motivated to really improve? Is he motivated to get in the side ahead of Ugarte, ahead of Casemiro, which guys are quite easily done. It's not impossible for him. So I like to keep Kobe at the club. I think he's a great player for the future. And also, having watched the 2 tour games as well, I was really impressed with Kone. I think he's someone that we should be looking at maybe the end of next season coming into the side as well. So we haven't even mentioned.
Are you saying that
there's a lot of players in that position that I feel, regardless of the numbers and saying, we're not going to get many games, even if we're not in Europe, I still think people will get games if you manage the side correctly and keep people on their toes.
Masterfully done, Yabba. Completely avoiding answering the question.
Thank you. Just like a politician.
What was the question?
What would be the best blend for someone like Wharton coming in?
Right, so I did answer the question by saying, when you got 5 subs, you got opportunity to. The best blend for me would be motivating players let them discover that themselves. I think personally, right now, it would be Kobe and Bruno. That would be great if they can get themselves together. But let the players really get hungry during the preseason, during this, all that training we're going to be doing in the next few weeks and months. Let them get hungry and let them decide, because there's so much talent out there. Let them decide. That's my answer.
All right, I'm going to try a different tact here, because yesterday I went all out and said that I would sack Amran like today. And today I decided that I should probably go and do the counter and come up with an argument about why I'd keep Amran. And one of the things I discovered in my research is that United made the most tackles and interceptions of any team in the Premier League last year. And we were shocking on transition. We didn't score anywhere near enough goals. And we had the opportunity with all those interceptions and all those tackles, we have the opportunity to be really, really good at scoring on transition. We've got Mbeumo in, we've got Cunha in, so we've got far more of a transition. Well, we think Mbeumo in, but we've got far more of a transition threat. My concern now is that players like Ugarte, Mainu, Casemiro and stuff like that, I think the blend that we've got to build is a midfield that is able to keep getting those tackles and interceptions, but also being able to launch transitions. Because that, because you've said you think with a bit of luck and the right recruitment and a good attitude, we can get top 4. Having seen some of our stats, I don't think it's as crazy as it was like previously because of the amount of turnovers we make and how hard that team works. What do you think we need to get in that midfield? Not about like motivated characters and legends and stuff. What sort of technical and physical attributes allows us to increase our transition threat from those 2 number 6s?
Interesting stat. Wasn't aware of that. And like I say, it's no point having that stat if you're not going to do something about it. It is a transitional game, isn't it, these days? We've seen it in the last few managers, especially Ten Hag and Ralph as well, what they want to do as soon as they turn over the ball. 3-4 passes and then scoring a goal, having a shot on target. That's the ideal behind it. So if we do turn over the ball, and we need someone who's going to be able to have good interception, tackling and pinching the ball, be able to read the game, and then, like you say, to be able to sort of play the ball forward between the lines or into the danger areas to start things off, or even run with the ball. We saw that with Yates from Nottingham Forest. Remember that? We did that.
Yeah.
He ran with the ball really well to start something, wait for a player to approach him, popped it off, and then 1-2, bam, 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 very easy finishes, So that's what we want to see. I'm saying Yates, I'm not identifying him, but I'm saying someone who can turn over the ball, maybe carry the ball with strong running to help with the transition and get in the box and get in the end of things as well. We've seen his beautiful goals. Sorry?
For the 2 6s, get in the box.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To be able to maybe start a move and get in the box. I saw a goal the other day, which I just thought was brilliant. It was, I watched the Paris final and some of their goals was good, but there was a goal I seen, it will come to me in a minute, which is a perfect transitional goal where I think this is so easy. It's just a tap in. It's just at the end of it, it's just a tap in. It was, who was it? It was just spoon fed, Everything was just, it's like they train this move over and over again, turn over the ball, bam, down the line, third man run, get in the box, square the ball, bam, set it, easy finish. That's what I think.
FA Cup final, Crystal Palace.
I don't know. Who was it? Was it
Lukaku for Napoli?
I don't know. It will come to me anyway. But I've seen like the Paris goal the other day when it Doué squared it. And that move in the box, a little bit of movement like that was really nice. But it wasn't that; it was something else.
I've got to give you some credit, but about a year ago, we all laughed at you when you said that you thought that Dembele was same level, bit better than Saka. But it turned out you're completely correct. He is much better than Saka.
But it's not that was obvious. I think we all knew that. But I just think
we didn't.
Come on, it's clear.
I didn't.
Look what he's been doing at Dortmund and getting signed for big clubs like Barcelona. Clearly, he's got something about him. Look what he did to England. He chops inside out. He's just a crazy player. But playing for a good side, when the side suits you, as Mr. B knows, if the side is, you can play for a side and look terrible, you can go play for another side where the manager fancies you, gives you a bit of confidence. And as you've seen with Paris, who I just wanted to ask you before the end of the show, I'll ask you at the end of the show anyway about how good that Paris team was the other day. Does it reflect how poor Inter Milan are, or were they just absolutely brilliant because they've beaten a lot of good sides this season? Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? It's who you play for.
Hard to say that one. What I will say though is Ugarte has been bloody useless in both at PSG and at United. And when you talked about what you want from the number 6, I think that we've got to kind of. We need to sort of like put Ugarte and Mainu together in a player, like have someone who's able to pinch the ball and then do stuff
Control
with it. So I'm worried about Casemiro and Ugarte as a starting pair.
Do you think he? I don't see he plays that. Honestly, I just don't think that comes into his. He knows what he needs in the Premier League. I love Casemiro, but he doesn't have the running power. He does not have the running power.
I know. I wonder if one of the three centre backs, like the central centre back, is a position I think Casemiro could play. Like, because Maguire and De Ligt are quite injury prone. Like, I think they've been carrying knocks and things. I think Casemiro might be able to fill in there. But when you look at his selections, I think Amrin has kind of closed the book on Ugarte. He didn't start.
Yeah, you see it the last 2
Yeah,
games.
because in the league, it was like he wanted to. He had to improve the record in the league. We couldn't finish 17th and keep him in the job, in my opinion. And then he's going for the trophy, and Ugarte doesn't get on the pitch. And I'm somewhat concerned about what the midfield is going to be next year, because we know what Casemiro is, we know what Ugarte is, and we know what Mainu is, and they'd work really well as a 3, but none of those combinations to me works well as a 2.
Yeah, agreed. So have we come to the conclusion then that ideally we want a partner for Kobe?
For me, yes. I would like Wharton and Mbeumo to just come into the club and solve that problem for me. But I think that, to be honest, Mr. B, I hate to say this, but I think we should sell Kobe, because he's not suited to a 6 and he's not suited to 10.
You know what? Let's just mute you. Let's just.
Okay. Oh yeah, now yeah.
No, do you know what?
You know I love Kobe.
Yeah. I understand. I just hope that there's a way. Listen, if he signs a contract, we know he's committed, and we know he's ready to rock and roll.
Unless we're doing it to sell him, that does happen sometimes.
No, I get it. I understand. And, we've said he doesn't fit into the system. We get it. But for us to be selling Kobe, as I am that we're getting in Mbeumo, is as pissed as I'd be that we're selling Kobe. There's some players who, he's a United.
Make the argument that isn't emotional about if Kobe works in this system, his monetary value, and all that kind of stuff. Like, if it's not an emotional argument, I think you have to sell him because you can get better players. I don't want to. I don't want to.
I understand, because that's probably the same argument you can have with Garnacho, that he hasn't
exactly
that he's not ready for the position, or he'll be ready in 2 years. I have no idea what it is. I just think he's class. I just think, Garnacho doesn't have his techers, for one. Garnacho just runs.
Garnacho never have scored that goal in the FA Cup final.
Exactly. He would have kicked it over the bar.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time.
Do you remember Rashford gave him a chance against Fulham, the first game of last season? And it was a tap-in. And
he missed.
He hit it 5 yards wide and fell over.
He missed. There you go. That could have been the start of it. I mean, how different could it have been if he had scored that goal for him as a player? Maybe not for Rashford. Rashford was already gone out the door, to be fair, I think. But
I think bath time, you see, upset a lot of people about your take on maybe selling Mainu. A lot of people like him. We all like him. His ability on the ball. And we want to see him develop to the next step, All the deficiencies he may have doesn't mean you have to sell him. We want to see now, can we develop him and turn him into a boss player? He's cut his hair. He looks like he's serious. I like to see that when they have a proper trim.
He's cut his hair.
He's cut his hair. Look, and you're sitting down here with 9-foot dreads, and you're happy that he's cut his hair.
I don't play anymore. I think when I was playing, I'd had a bar lead or something like that, which is just straight.
What? A bar lead?
A bald head.
Forgive
me. See, I told you I've got no intelligence.
You know what? We need to bring bath time down to London and get him down with the lingo.
Ending like Casemiro. Yeah. So I don't know some words. It's fine.
No, it's wicked. I love it. It's the way you said it. I've never heard it said like that, half time. That's all.
See, blend. This is what you need. But my point is I love Kobe. Everyone on this channel knows that I have a massive bias towards Kobe. And I want him to be the first name on the team sheet. He's my new McTominay. But if you take all of that out and you look at it like from a whole, I think that the club would. This is why I want Amrin out, because any system that can't get Kobe Mainu playing, it isn't a system that I want to see. To be honest,
no one's saying he's not playing. Look, let's wait and see what happens with him next season. He played. He came on the other day in the tour. Looked like the best player in the park. I heard some people say he looks the best player in the park, no doubt about it. He's got talent. Now, the manager's not going to dash him away just so easy. You know, there's an issue about the contract, yeah. But you got to prove you're a good manager. You got to work with these guys and try to get the best out of him.
Yeah.
He does become this combative, intercepting player, which he can add to his game, which it's not impossible, is it? He can add that to his game. A bit more physical, a bit stronger runner. Then you've got a top player in your hands, haven't you?
Absolutely. I just, do you agree, Yabba, that Kobe and Garnacho, they're not naturally suited to the system that we play?
Naturally, maybe not, because they've grown up with a different system, but can they adapt? That's the big question.
You think they can adapt?
No, that was the question. Can they adapt? And from what I've seen, I think they can, because they're young enough. It's like learning a new language, isn't it? They always say learn a language when you're young, because you're more open to it, not when you're an old man. You know, I know you're very fluent in how many languages, Bath time? Many.
Like one, English. I'm all right. I'm good at Spanish, and I'm all right at Latin. But my Latin is as good as your French.
Oh, there you go.
I'm a Catholic boy.
Well, there you go. It's true though. But if you ask these guys to develop now, that's why they're probably taking a little step back. Why we're saying they're not good enough and questioning it, because they're having to adapt to a new manager, a system they've not really played that much, and it's better for them. They become better footballers for it if they can achieve a first-team place by the end of the season. I think they can. I think both of them can if they stay. So, yeah, I don't want to be too down on them, because it's about development, and I think these guys can do the business. Just needs more time to sort of a bit more understanding how where find their place in this side, and then their talent will shine through. That's all it takes.
Right. If you were to pick the 2 sixes tomorrow, like let's say Premier League starts tomorrow, who would you pick?
Always, this is what I'm saying. I'm with Mr. B. Mr. B, when you ask Mr. B about he likes ballers, he likes guys to play football on the ground. That's what he likes to see. So my 2 sixes would be a combative Kobe and Bruno Fernandes, because he's the leader of the team. The reason I play those two is because they're the most talented two, and if we're playing as a better team now, they can control games more. You know what I'm saying? If we're improving that much, we'll be in more control. You look at the midfield. I'm going to name 2 of them. 2 little midgets for PSG. You had Neves, João Neves, young guy, and you had Vitinha. What? And you're thinking they're going to get moved up. They're going to get bullied. They control the game. They absolutely control the game. I know they've got Fabian Ruiz there as well, but those 2 alone, as short as they are, as small as they are, ball players, that's what Mr. B likes. That's why I would have a Bruno and a Kobe, if they could play and watch that PSG and say, control the game.
Yeah, but it's a bit like watching prime Barcelona with Busquets, Iniesta, and Xavi, and like saying sort of go and do that. They work as a unit, and they move around each other, and they've got a bit more freedom. I think that putting Kobe and Bruno is really good for on the ball stuff, receiving under pressure, like transitions, knocking it about and stuff like that. But one of the things that I think we we should give Amorim some credit for is that he has stopped our team leaking so many transition goals that we saw under Erik ten Hag. And I wonder if that midfield can compete with what we get in the Premier League, because I think Newcastle should always be the test of, can your midfield live with Newcastle United?
Yeah, because they beat you up, man.
Yeah.
Newcastle midfields give you a beating. Yeah, you're right there.
Look, who would you pick, Mr. B?
Kobe has to start. I'm finding a partner for Kobe, and it's not Bruno. Even if he's in the squad, I'm not. I don't know where Bruno plays. We've seen it this season. Maybe it's because I want the money. Maybe it's because I see it as a big rebuild. But yeah, we finished, 15th with Bruno in the team, and his numbers are incredible. Bruno's numbers have been incredible for us, but the cold light of day is we still finished 15th, even with his numbers. We look at it, we know he's not fast enough to play as the 10. He's probably not dynamic enough. Nothing against his assists and his passing. His tackling is not strong enough to play as for either one of the sixes that we play. Yeah.
Bruno made the most ball recoveries out of any player from Manchester United last season.
Was that tackling or ball recoveries? As in,
recoveries, second balls.
Second ball, but that's not tackling.
Yeah, but like second balls is more important for a number 10 than tackling is.
Okay, fair enough. But as an 8, you want your 8 to tackle. I'm talking about in the 8 position though.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and that's what he would have to be, isn't it? With Cunha and Mbeumo. Yeah.
That's the if you've got 2 10s, I think you need 2 8s, or you need a versatile 8 and a man who does the job that he wants him to do. I'm just not sure Bruno can do. I mean, look, we might find that they don't buy a striker, and Bruno stays as the 10, and they maybe move Xerxes. I mean, look, we've still got Xerxes in the squad.
Cunha could be a 6, to be honest.
Oh,
wouldn't be the greatest use of him, but he's got the power to play there.
There's just absolutely no point in.
Bruno came as a 6.
Bruno used to be a centre back, didn't he?
Yeah, he did in Italy. Bruno started as a 6, and Ollie quickly worked out that he needed to be basically free at 10 and stuck to big henchmen behind.
So he was getting those numbers playing as a 6 in Portugal.
Yeah, his first game against Wolves, he played as a 6 as well for us.
Are you sure?
In Portugal for Sporting, he wasn't a 6.
I think he definitely played in his first game for us. He played as a 6, and he's played it before. And now, with the signings that we've made, the only thing that I'm questioning is if Bruno stays, is he now a 6, or could Cunha possibly go and fill that role, or maybe play as a sort of a deeper 10 and make a kind of 3, as it were?
Look, if he stays, he's going to have to get it right. I just see it as money. I just see him as money now. I don't see him as the captain of the club. I just see him. If he comes out and says he's
him.
Yeah. If he comes out and says he's staying, then fine. I'll accept that he's staying. Fair play to him. They'll find. He'll. But I just see him as straight cash now. I just see him as straight cash.
Any shot that goes over the bar, any terrible corner, anytime he loses the ball, you're just going to see 20 million just shooting out of the stadium or whatever. And it's so regrettable that he's going, but it's really those 2 6s is really interesting to me, because I think if we can sort them out, there's quite a lot of underlying stuff with Amorim's team that is promising. I'm still not convinced, but we do win the ball so often compared to everyone else that
and don't do anything with it.
Yeah, if we can do something with it, like the majority of Liverpool's goals came from fast breaks last season, I discovered, and we won the ball more than them in all areas of the pitch, high up the pitch as well. So
Mount especially. There's part. Do you? The winning the ball back part, obviously, that's a silent stat because not a lot of people are going to know that by half time. You think that's something that Amarin's actually worked on?
Yes, 1,000,000,000%. And it's not. It's very what he does, which is even more important, is that he doesn't like tackles. He likes interceptions because they're more valuable. Like because presumably you're facing the way you're playing, and his team is definitely set up to kind of turn the ball over a lot. And maybe we do need like a sort of Gyökeres, a transition specialist up front to really get it mowing. But I'm just I don't know. I think we really need to get a number 6 in that is a proper like number 6 that can launch the ball or launch attacks as well as break them up. And then we need a striker so badly. Like shout out to Inter Milan. You've shown the world that fun football is back, and you're going to sign Rasmus Højlund, and that is a hell of a week for sports fans.
I'll tell you, that'll be a party. Harry Wood said turning down 100 million for Bruno would be as irresponsible as spending 70 million on Casemiro.
Just talking about Inter Milan, I mean, how are they feeling? My flatmate, she was in Milan. She's on a European tour. She was in Milan for the final, and she said the fans, I mean, they love their football, don't they? But she said it was just miserable. Everyone was gutted. But it's like the claim is that they're too old now. The squad is too old. They've got Mkhitaryan playing for them, haven't they? You know, and players like that. So getting someone like Rasmus Højlund in, who's known in Italy, and they probably don't care about his reputation over there. They can get a tune out of him. I think that's quite feasible.
You also play with the 2 at Inter, if they carry on, and that's really important.
Yeah, I think he could suit them. So I wouldn't laugh off links to Inter or any.
It looks like it's happening. I think, as I've said before, if you look at Lookman at Atalanta, you look at Solanke, you even look at Gyökeres, there are players that were really highly rated that were pretty crap for a long time, strikers, and then they all pulled it together. And I genuinely would not be surprised in 5 years if Rasmus is getting 25 goals in a decent league. It's just it's not going to happen with us. And once again, we said this the other day, everyone should write a thank you letter to Anthony and Scott McTominay because it is making Manchester United crap look much more valuable.
Yeah, good shout. So what we've got on for the week, I mean, this is great news, but what we got, is there any more friendlies?
No.
The season's finished. They're done.
We had some
they're
friendlies
back in Manchester.
Oh, they're back. Okay.
Yeah, they're back. They're getting ready to They get ready to go on their holiday, man. Garnacho posted something about emoji with, I don't know, plane signing, aeroplane signing, something else when he was going. So I think they're all posting their bits and pieces now. They're buggering off. So yeah, look, go away, rest up. You know, don't get yourself in any trouble. Enjoy whatever you're doing. Come back and ready to be sold. I think it's great.
It's just transfers now, Yabba, unfortunately.
Well, it's a good. You know what? Today was a good day, and if we're seeing things like that coming through, and Mbeumo and Cunha so soon, we've got a lot to look forward to. So
Mitrovic, we've been linked with.
Yeah, I heard about that. I mean, he scored a lot of goals out in Saudi Arabia, hasn't he?
What are we doing? We started this show so happy. And now you've pissed me off talking about bloody.
No, we're not going to sign Mitrovic. It's just Saudi league nonsense. Like he's a prolific championship level striker, and he's not a great Premier League striker. Yeah, but what he does is, if we're linked with that kind of player, we can begin to think about how Cunha and Mbeumo and so on are going to operate. And if you, one of our big problems last year was that we had the ball in the final third like all the time, and we weren't able to get out. And a lot of that is down to the goalkeeper and Rasmus Højlund. So even getting a lump in like Mitrovic that can work as an outlet, something that relieves the pressure on the team and gets us up the pitch, it drastically improves us and our performances. So the fact they're going for someone who's, as Yabba says, is a handful, is going to occupy centre backs. You can already see the plan that's going to give more space to Mbeumo and Cunha. It's going to give us an out ball, bit more of physical presence up front. And even if it is Mitrovic that comes in, last year we had Ahmad, Mount, and Rasmus Højlund. How many Premier League defenders do you think were going, oh, God, I'm in for a hard day tomorrow? And now we've got Mbeumo, Cunha, and Mitrovic. Like, they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to feel this on Sunday morning. So it's not that bad.
You know, when you put it like that, we were shit, man. So shit. When you put it like that one time, yeah. Oh God, we are
you're happy again.
Yeah, I'm happy again, man. You thought I swallowed my face with that one. Yeah, what an improvement, man. Bloody hell. Oh God, guys, we've been 110. We are back tomorrow, aren't we? As Stephanie says, I wonder what it's only day 3. Day 3 of
the
It's crazy,
Yeah.
man. It's crazy. Tyrone, you know what? I saw a lot of your things because you joined late. You missed all of the stuff. Like I seen you were posting it because you had come in late. We had already spoken about Mbeumo coming. We had already laughed and expressed our joy. So yeah, but welcome anyway. There was a few newbies in here. I do hope that you lot subscribe to the channel. Thanks for finding us. Yeah, we will be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And before we go, is there anything that you would like to say, Bath time?
Lack a notch.
Oh, nice and quick. Yabba.
Yeah, lack a notch from me. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
And lack a notch from me. See you all tomorrow.